Did you see that the Twitter account that was following her stock movements got blocked,
Yeah,
I don't know,
yeah,
suspended, deleted, and
yeah, man.
there's another
The
Twitter
right,
account now.
yeah,
Huh?
man. The right arm of the Democratic Party is Twitter, basically.
But dude, there's another Twitter account, and I think its name is something like "definitely not a Democrat senator" or something. It's a picture of Nancy Pelosi, and it's sharing her trades. Dude, I died. It's like, no, no, these people are way too funny, man.
Nobody move and nobody gets hurt. This is a stick up by Jerry and Adrian, the Legalized Robbery podcast.
Jerry and the Romanian stallion Adi back again with all of the tips and tricks to finesse the game of stocks and crypto, mainly crypto, because that's where all the yield is right now. But as soon as it's popping back in stocks, we're back in it again. So, first of all, Happy New Year to the listeners and to yourself, Adi. How are you today?
Hey Jerry, Happy New Year! And yeah, I was waiting for you to ask me how I am, because you usually do. Uh, Dude, I'm good. I'm in the middle of a learning spree. I'm knee deep into smart contracts right now. I was telling you before we started that it's actually super interesting, very exciting, and it's like hands-on approach regarding some stuff I knew theoretically about before, but right now just like doing them and seeing them how they work, it's super interesting. It's definitely, yeah, it's motivating. Yeah. And
Yeah, I can imagine.
yeah. Other than that, I'm good. I'm healthy. Nothing much. The holidays. Oh, actually, the holidays they were interesting. Like we had New Year's Eve, and a bunch of people took COVID. Actually, they had COVID. And yeah,
Yeah, man, Omicron is going around like crazy, man.
yeah. I mean, obviously we don't talk about this too much, because it's not relevant. But I do think it's worth mentioning at least the fact that it's super infectious, but in terms of gravity, it's super lightweight, dude. Like, obviously, I thought I had it. Again, some people had it. They said it was like a breeze. They said it was like a cold. So this one is actually like a cold. And yeah, most people that had it were vaccinated, so they had no problems. So yeah, at least
Yeah, by the
this
way,
one.
we're like, as much as we're not giving any financial advice, we're also not giving any medical advice.
Obviously,
Just to
obviously.
be safe. But yeah, I do actually agree. If and there goes the COVID cough.
Yeah. Dude, we took three tests. Oh, sorry. Three tests and one PCR, and they were all negative. And I was like, dude, like I had like two
Sweet.
days. I had a headache. It was so bad. I was tired. I went to sleep like at 3 p.m. in the day, and woke up at 7. I was quite wrecked. I was like, it's 100% COVID for myself as well. And it wasn't. It was actually just a cold. And I was like, interesting, I guess. Interesting.
What
So we
if
still
it
have the
what if
cold.
it was what if it was the market correction that induced COVID-like symptoms in you?
Dude, it's like, honestly, if you ask me right now, I don't even know how much money I have in the stock market. I have not checked. I just know I opened it for like 5 days in a row. It was red, and I was like, I'm not watching this shit anymore. Like, fuck this shit, man. Like,
Yeah,
not
man, it's
worth it.
depressing, man.
Yeah.
I took profits. I took profits after, well, I needed it for lawyer fees. I think I told you about it.
Yeah.
So luckily, I sort of by necessity, I had to like time it that way. So I don't want to make it seem like I was some genius that,
Yeah.
took profit at the right time. But, there was a little bit of that in there. Nah, I have no clue, and I'm happy I took at a pretty okay time. because now we also have, all of the news about inflation coming in, and it's not looking good. It's not looking good at all.
Yeah.
So yeah. But
With,
once again, thanks for asking
yeah.
how I was, Hadi. There goes your social skills.
Yeah, I wasn't going for them anyways. Like, I'm all max intellect. I was talking to somebody today, like how you build an RPG character. It's like, dude, I just maxed out this. Yeah, zero social skills. Not even gonna
Who,
pretend, dude.
what meme was that was making jokes about somebody that was
Yeah,
maxing out something?
yes.
Which
Well,
one was that?
I don't remember, but I also know it was something like this. I think a couple of
Who
months ago.
was it?
I don't know,
Who
dude.
was it?
We're not gonna get it now. Like,
Fuck.
but yes,
No,
seriously,
because I know it's
genuinely,
really funny.
how are you and how is your new year?
This is like at the All In pod where they make fun of Friedberg, and do like
A robot have
robot noises.
protocol. Yeah,
I
it's
feel
fun.
I don't feel emotion.
Yeah, it's fun.
I
It's fun.
feel
It's fun.
neurotransmitters transmitting information.
Exactly.
Um, yeah, I'm good. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for retroactively asking. I've had a good New Year's with my missus. Um, had fun. Went to eat. Um, yeah, chill with some friends. Yeah, man, just very wholesome vibes, and just grateful for the the new year, man. Just making it here, because now more than ever, literally not everybody made it, past the new year. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, just grateful for that, and hopefully, with Omicron and the way it's developing, it might signal the end of the pandemic and hopefully an endemic, and we just learn to live with it.
Hmm.
And yeah, just enjoy our freedoms, enjoy our times with friends and family and stuff like that. And
Sure.
oh
But
my
dude,
God.
this is what I wanted to tell you before you asked me why I didn't ask you how you were. I was talking to Mihai, and when the crypto market dumped, like, I don't know, I think 3 or 4 days ago, I was showing him, like, from Coin Market Cap, I had $100 left of profit for the whole of last year. Obviously, it's diluted in a sense that I bought new positions before the year ended and stuff like that, and I took profits during the year on certain things. But yeah, certain coins, they just retracted so hard, and I actually had some new money in. But like, in the end, I had $100 profit, dude. you know it's I think it's back to 2000 right now. Obviously, in terms of, like, it's not marked profit, so it's not like a taxable event. I haven't sold anything. But in terms of just like price flows. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of taking profits, but the way the markets are looking, they're super volatile and they seem to be reacting to everything. And it's like, hope investing pans out for the next 3 years, or I just wasted a lot of time just not taking up good opportunities, in stocks that I knew were going to go up, or at least thought were going to go up. So yeah, it's
I mean,
interesting.
you can find solace in the fact that like some of the best investors missed, or didn't see this coming, because at the beginning of the pandemic, obviously, now we know that everything was highly overrated, and people were driven to buy into the future potential of companies, and this severely sort of harmed their valuation, especially now that it's correcting. But before we get into anything, like, let's just jump into what we're going to talk about today, just broadly.
Sure.
So we are talking today about just like a few thoughts on inflation. As of right now, I don't think the breakdown is out now. We are, or I am at least assuming, I'm speaking for myself, that a large part of it is going to be energy, since there's, been a huge rise in natural gas and stuff like that due to mismanagement of energy. Um, and it's coming to sort of bite us both in Europe and the US. Then we will talk about DOPEX and Near Protocol / Foundation, and then we'll talk a little bit about the Cosmos ecosystem and all of the dope stuff that's happening on there.
It's on
So
fire.
it's fire.
Legit
So
fire.
what I wanted to start with was a protocol. Hold on, we might have to cut this part out. But is it loud outside?
My
Can you hear
part,
somebody speak?
I can hear some background noise. I cannot understand what they're saying, but I can hear some voice. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll have to cut that out anyway, because I was about to get outside and just start shouting at motherfuckers.
Okay.
Anyway, okay. So what I wanted to talk about was DOPEX and Ribbon Finance. DOPEX, to be really simple, it sounds like just some name, but it actually is an acronym. DOPEX is basically an acronym for Decentralized Options Exchange.
Interesting.
And this explains what DOPEX basically is, which is a options exchange, but it's decentralized, right? I think all of us have a rough knowledge of what options mean based on if we think about the Wall Street bet saga, where people were betting against them and stuff like that. Like it had a lot to do with options trading, and it's a form of in trading that allows you to leverage your positions in a very extreme way. And there's there's a basic way to break it down, which is you have puts, where you bet against the performance of a company. You are saying that a price is going to hit a certain a point, and if that price hits that certain point, then you get rewarded. And depending on how much leverage you use, you'll get a certain amount, and vice versa. So the other side is calls, which is betting for the company to increase in price. And yeah, so it's basically the flip side of that. Either you're betting against the company or you're betting for the company. And this is what options trading allows you to do, and it allows you to do that with a lot of leverage, and to the point where some people, they will put up a few thousands and can reach millions in very extreme cases, or lose millions. So you have a lot of that on Reddit as well. You know, there's this thing called loss porn, where people show losses, and yeah, it's really interesting. You can look it up on Reddit. So yeah, options trading consists of these two things. Obviously, there's like intricacies like covered calls and stuff like that, but we won't get too much into that, and I won't claim that I'm a specialist in that either. But what's interesting about DOPEX is that it employs layer 2 technology, because doing something such as trading options is extremely difficult in even a centralized exchange. But to do that in a decentralized exchange, I mean, you do need very low fees to do these things, because people do them very quickly sometimes, and they're very volatile as well. So the price, action data and stuff like that has to be on point. And what's impressive is that DOPEX has really managed to pull this off, and they're one of the few projects on crypto that have done this. And the other project is Ribbon Finance. So to get into another reason why DOPEX is interesting is because they have a product called SSOVs, and they're similar to a product that Ribbon has, which is called Theta Vaults. What this allows them to is for users to deposit assets and sell covered calls.
Mm-hmm.
Both of these options allow them to earn yield and create and they've created a rebase token, which is basically like a governance token of sorts for them. And that's why you have DOPEX and RDOPEX.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of this can be automated, so they will then allow people to sort of take profits, have them deposit their assets, and then earn yield within them, so they can do options trading as well as earn yield on their deposits, which is pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And DOPEX plan is to be able to bring in a lot of locked value due to this, so that you're not just able to buy calls and puts and do options
Mm-hmm.
trading, but to also earn yield on the money that you put into their ecosystem. And this is pretty incredible. So people don't just take the money that they've gotten out of the ecosystem, but they keep them there to then earn them additional yield.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty impressive, actually.
Yeah.
So most other protocols, they try and do this through liquidity providing tokens and sort of mercenary farmers and whatnot. Not too many have tried this, what DOPEX is doing. And this is a very interesting way to raise money, and I think it's very bullish for them. And the only difference, I guess, between DOPEX and Ribbon is that there are vaults where you can earn yield and stuff like that um, are not automated. In DOPEX, you have to manually do it. In Ribbon, you can
Oh, okay.
automate this.
Mm-hmm.
hmm And the ultimate goal of DOPEX is basically to be like Robinhood, but just the decentralized version of it. And what I'm just saying to listeners is like just picture the amount of sort of degenerate trades that are happening on Wall
Degeneracy.
Street bets. I mean, it's just anarchy
Yeah.
in terms of losses, in terms of wins, and now imagine that on a decentralized platform. And
Yeah.
that's pretty yeah, that's a pretty strong sort of use case, especially if you think about somebody in a country where there's some sort of restriction to options trading, because Robinhood is not available everywhere, and many
Yeah.
countries don't have options trading as an option on their platform. So having a decentralized version of this invites a lot of people to do this. Obviously, this is a lot of people losing money, but what's really cool is that you have the RDPX token, which allows you to earn money on the volatility of the platform. So the token goes up in relation to how volatile it is and how much is being used. So that's really
Mm-hmm.
cool as well. And I personally own some, and it's been one of my best performing, before the correction and during the correction. So you could look it up, RDPX.
Okay.
And on Ribbon Finance, by the way, you have some of their like vaults giving yield for stable coins of up to 30 to 50%, purely because they are I think they're gaining something from the level of trading that they're doing, because options is very, I mean, those are
Yeah.
basically contracts.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, they have some of the highest yield for stablecoins on their platform, even higher than Anchor, but it's not as consistent as Anchor,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I think that's, yeah, probably it. They're on Arbitrum, like I said, layer 2, so it's cheap
Oh,
to do the
okay.
options trading and stuff like that. And yeah, so that's that. DOPEX and Ribbon Finance. Check that out.
I just wanted to ask, so it's obviously Ethereum, and I wanted to ask which layer two, because at this point, Arbitrum had problems, Matic had
Yes, yes.
problems. Loopring
Yes.
hasn't yet, which is
Loopring
why.
hasn't, but it's really underwhelming in terms of performance. It's like it went down quite a bit. But you're right. Arbitrum was it slowed down network or was it shut down?
From what I understood, Arbitrum has the same problem Solana has. They just literally
Yeah,
shut it down. It's centralized and they just shut it down,
yeah,
which obviously is like an alarm signal for me. But yeah, but I mean,
yeah.
not gonna bash it
I
now,
had
but yeah.
I mentioned a similar thing to one of the guys, not one of the fellow investors in the Telegram group, and he said it's ironic because um everything is coming full circle because Bitcoin sort of maxis were criticizing ETH for their early DOS attacks and then having to do those forks,
Hmm.
and now ETH maxis are criticizing
Solana.
Solana. And now Solana maxis are criticizing Arbitrum, and Terra maxis criticizing all of them.
Yeah. Well, dude, I mean,
Well, except Bitcoin. Bitcoin is but apparently there's reports that there was not like a shutdown of the Bitcoin network, but that it had degraded performance, like extremely degraded performance before as well. And that's some information I didn't know. I thought it was like it never had that kind of thing.
I, I didn't
Yeah.
hear this before, but yeah, there happens to be moments of congestion, and it's not just high tax rates; it's also slow. So yeah, that happens. That happens for Ethereum and Bitcoin, and it usually happens for a lot of networks. But yeah, I don't know, dude. It's kind of bad in the sense that, well, luckily it hasn't happened to Terra now, but you have said, and I partially agree with this, it will get tested. It just hasn't happened yet. But I think you remember I sent you a tweet at some point, and there was this guy who was showcasing that basically you can basically shut down the whole Terra network with, like, I think was it like 5 million a day. And well, yeah, I don't have $5 million, but for some people,
Yeah,
$5 million
yeah.
isn't a lot. So they could spam it, they could DDoS it to death for a full day for 5 million. And I think there are
Yeah,
Ethereum maxis who can do that. So we'll see. But yeah, having
that's
Solana, for
that's what I'm
example,
thinking.
yeah, but having Solana
Terra
shut
just has
down.
to get big enough. Terra just has to get big enough to fall prey to some like whale dark arts hacker. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's not hacking; it's just
And
swamping. But yeah, you know.
yeah, well, I guess yeah.
Anyway, we'll see. But for example, with Solana, like I told you, I didn't have a lot of Solana assets, but I sold them. Like having the token being, having the network being shut down 4 times in less than half a year. Honestly, even with what I was telling you regarding development, if people were to ask me, do you want to build on Solana? I right now I would be like, I don't think I do, because I think that's a liability, dude. Like, do you build on a network that's not fucking stable? And I think this is
Absolutely, but
how.
I mean AWS shuts down and stuff like that. But we don't blink an eye because they're obviously centralized and they're known to be. But I think Solana can still occupy a space where you can accept that they are not as decentralized as they claim to be. Maybe incremental sort of improvement, but for what it's worth and for what you need it to do, like render, we talked about.
Mhm.
I think I told you what he said. He said for the level of security that they can offer at that level of speed, it's impressive for them. You know, and that's a slightly nuanced argument that like sort of accepts that yes, you know, this is probably not as decentralized as it claims to be, but for our use, it's okay and it's enough. And I
Yeah,
think, you know, Solana can still exist within that space, but to me, Solana is not a contender for global exchange at that point anymore. It is, however, valid for things like render and gaming, because shutdowns are okay there. It will
Yeah.
be a minor inconvenience, but it won't stop international trades from
No.
happening. You
Yeah,
know
yeah.
what I mean?
I get what you're saying, and yeah, I agree with that point. I'm just all I'm saying is it's not necessarily I'm being bearish. Honestly, I don't care that much about Solana. I'm just trying to think from the perspective of a dev and kind of give advices. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I would build on Solana right now. And while Solana is IBC compatible, regarding what we were talking earlier, because it's part of IBC, and you can do IBC transfers and shit, which is good. I don't know. I don't think there's any common ground in terms of writing contracts for it. So from that perspective, the question is: do you build your ecosystem on Solana, and it has no portability towards another chain? I don't know. I mean, from this perspective, even Ethereum might be better because you now have Ethereum compatible virtual machines every fucking where. Like Polkadot has one, Cosmos SDK will have one, Phantom has one, Avalanche has one. Now, basically, all chains have EVM compatible functionalities. So from that perspective, yeah, maybe it's worth doing a EVM implementation and then having it in those wrappers until EVM is a viable chain. Maybe, I don't know.
What does EVM mean, just for listeners that don't know
It
what that
means
means?
Ethereum Virtual Machine, and basically what you do is you write code for Ethereum, which is encapsulated, and basically you have a subsection of your network that just does exactly this, just is able to read and operate like Ethereum would, but obviously in the context of your own network, bringing your own advantages.
Hmm.
So yeah, I don't know.
So that's
It's
the beer case for Solana from Adi, everyone. There
dude,
you
I
go.
wanted it. I wanted it to be true, because it has
I
seriously
wanted it to be true too.
it has super low fees and it is fast. But for example, even right now, when I think I was trying to buy something in Solana, I think in December, and Binance had withdrawals for Solana disabled for like 3 or 4 days in a row, and then I just came, I think in January, and they were functional, but I didn't want to do it anymore. And even
Right.
this makes you think like, and yeah, basically Binance was saying network is congested and you cannot withdraw money there. So
Yeah. I do wonder what its future is going to be and how, because obviously Solana had such an incredible rise, and then it was just trading sideways for a long time, and then it went down again, and now it's like in no man's land. Like, we don't know whether it's going to go up or down.
yeah.
While I still think it will play an important part potentially in gaming and other sort of niche industries, such as the one that Render a token is providing, like in rendering stuff. Their future is uncertain because they had very lofty goals in the beginning, but now that all of these frequent, shutdowns have been happening, um, it will slightly change that. But yeah, we'll see.
But I think we can just end on this. I think your hypothesis might be correct. Maybe it will be used as a blockchain solution for uh, services that don't require it to be 24/7 uptime. For example, in internet requests, you have UDP requests, which basically they don't have to be 100% sent all the time. So from that perspective, yeah, it maybe it's analogous to that. So maybe that's gonna be its implementation. But yeah, we can
Yeah.
we can move on.
So the next quick sort of bull thesis I wanted to make was on a coin called Near, and it's part of the Near protocol. And I'll say off the bat, this is a company, this is kind of like potentially what Solana was destined to be is what they are, but they are not promoting themselves being like super decentralized. Shall I say it this way? They are under promising and over delivering.
Mhm.
So that protocol has an open and transparent CEO. That CEO and newly actually um, is a lady called what's her name? Her last name is Flamant. What was her first name again? I need to check. Well, yes. Now I found the name and I don't even know how to pronounce it.
I imagine so, but give it a try now if you search for
Okay,
it.
so her name is Mareike Flamant, and she was the CMO of Circle, so USDC.
Okay. Mhm.
Obviously, Circle had a spectacular rise, going
Mhm.
from I think somewhere around 3 billion to 40 billion at the time that she was a part of it. And she's basically bringing years of experience and scaling to Near, and they're
Mhm.
looking to reach mass adoption. And what's interesting about Near, so let's just like I'm just gonna do like quick jabs and hooks. Um, it's basically ETH 2.0 sharding on steroids. It has Solana speed, Avalanche's EVME compatibility, Polkadot's shared security, and is cheaper, and it has Cosmos inter-blockchain communications compatibility.
Yep. Yep.
Crazy.
Yes. It's
This is what Near is doing, right? And it's permissionless, obviously, proof of stake, and it's carbon neutral. They like it's designed to be super fast and super secure and really scalable. And part of their they're backed by the top VCs, including usual suspects, A16Z, Pantera Capital, Electric Capital, and they are going into a partnership with MoonPay, which is a on-ramp sort of service provider that allows you
yep.
to buy the token directly. And MoonPay is obviously in 150 countries, so this onboarding is gonna be like drastic. Um, so yeah, if I could make like a short sort of summary of what Near is capable of, this is it. And what I find interesting about it is that like out the gate, they came out and said they're a company and they want mass adoption, and they're somewhat they didn't push the decentralized thing as much as Solana did, which is what I like about them.
Mhm.
They didn't push the decentralized thing as much as Solana did, but still showed incredible security standards, you know, and having like sharding and stuff like that implemented, and and that's just really interesting to me, and it sort of checks all of the boxes. And given the fact that they have, they seem to show this policy of under promise over deliver, I think they are bound to be one of the next big protocols. So keep an eye out for them.
Yeah. No. So I have a super small position in Near. I think Mihai told me about Near first time. I think maybe 2 months ago. So I bought a very small amount. I didn't even look at it.
Hmm.
It's not up by a lot, to be honest, but it's fine. But I will say is, yeah,
Are
on
you sure?
paper, it's yeah.
I think that's one of the best performing protocols in the past few weeks. If you check,
Let me
No,
check.
maybe not in the time that you bought it, but like
Yeah,
in the past
I
few
have
weeks, it
timestamps.
definitely.
So, but yeah, uh, okay,
Okay.
it's up to 100%. I mean, a, a billion here, a billion there. Soon we're talking about actual money. But yeah, uh,
And by
yeah,
the way, by the way, in terms of market cap, that's something that I forgot to say. In terms of market cap, it's actually one of the lowest market caps for having that many sort of features and capabilities. So if you're
but
looking to if you're looking to ape into something that has way more room to grow, near would be, top of the list, I'd say.
but let me just bring some data in. You know, I like data. So
Sure, man.
near is currently a 10 billion market cap. So it's not that small. You know, it's
Hold on,
the
no.
nine.
At the time that I was checking it, it was like 8 billion or something like that, and
It's 10 now.
that's lower than Cosmos. That's
Yeah,
lower
yeah,
than Phantom.
yeah, but it's 8 now. So it's 10 now. Sorry, it's 10 billion now.
Yeah,
And um, yeah,
that's still lower than some of the coins that we
just
prize
hold
highly.
on, hold on a second. And also, if you check in DeFi Llama, which is one of the best websites to track total value locked in ecosystems, it only has 150 million locked into it. So that's 71 market cap to TVL, which I'll just say from this specific
Okay,
metric, it's super overvalued. But maybe this is because it's just ramping up. But I think it's
it's
already,
very
if
early days.
it's early days, but still, I think its market cap reported to its TVL is actually quite big. Just as a reference, Terra
I didn't
has
actually check that, so you're right on that. You're right on that.
Terra
I
has
do agree.
30 billion market cap, okay, but it has also 18 billion in TVL, which is a
Wealth
market cap
value,
to
yeah.
TVL ratio of 1.5. So
That's
from
true.
from
That's true.
from
I
that
agree.
perspective, when you weigh things up, for example,
I agree, but I think that's just well, actually, no, you're right. You're right.
and that's the
I
thing,
would have
like
said that's an account of marketing.
it's not. It's actual money locked in the protocol. I
Yeah.
think its capabilities ran a bit ahead of its products, like the apps on the network. I'm not saying it won't perform well. I'm just saying maybe it just went a bit ahead. But yeah, anyhow, it's interesting, and I agree it has good capabilities, and it might have a bright future, but it's also not very cheap for now. I'm just gonna say it. Yeah.
No. Um, I would have to think back to examples of protocols that didn't have that much TVL. But you're right. Like a lot of sort of good picks are the ones that have like incredible TVL. Sometimes even TVL surpassing the market cap. Like those are incredibly good projects and stuff like that.
Yep.
But
Yep.
given the level of sort of technical advancement that Near has, I would bet that it will be a exception to the rule.
I will I
But
will give you
yeah, that's
sorry.
just my pick.
I will give you a counterexample here, which I think might be a dark horse. And you mentioned it in our private conversation, but just in terms of providing metrics, Phantom, dude. Like Phantom is
Yes, but Phantom is the least decentralized protocol probably from
I
what I read.
I'm not talking about that, but Phantom has a market cap of 7 billion, and it has 7 billion locked in it. It has a market cap to TVL rating of 1.1. So I think
Yeah,
Phantom
but
is a great
ironically,
opportunity.
it's also by the standards of many of the crypto industry, it would be considered one of the least decentralized platforms. So that's important to know as well.
I haven't looked into it. Maybe I can do, or maybe we can do a deeper dive next week about Phantom, because I know you're also looking into it. But yeah,
Yes, yes.
I'm open to it. I'm just saying in terms of numbers, these numbers look really
Yeah.
well. It's kind of
No,
sort of
and
like,
I wouldn't even say it's a bad investment. Yeah, I'd say the opposite even. It's a great investment.
yeah,
Even if they are not as decentralized.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah. By the way, that market cap is below Luna, ADA, Solana, and Avalanche,
who's
many of them. But then again, like you said, market cap to total value locked is is a more important metric, and in that regard,
but
it could need some improvement.
the thing is, it's not that I'm not even being a hater. I'm just saying it's like, and I'm trying to see if it actually it's similar to PS ratio. So market cap to TVL is similar to PS ratio in the sense that it's not profitability, because I'm not even talking about the fees and everything, how the money moves and how much the layer benefits from the ecosystem. It's like it's like PS. It's just the money being inside the company, let's say. So that's what I'm saying. Probably the biggest problem with Near Protocol is that it cannot grow much more without having huge adoption in terms of applications. You know what I mean, right? In the sense that,
Yes,
okay, how much can it grow? Can it do another 5x and then have what? 350 market cap to TVL? No, it cannot do that. It's going to be outrageous. People will be like, no, this is not worth it. So something needs to give. So either the price will go down or the TVL must go absurdly up in order for this to be considered a good investment. Ergo, people buying it.
I
So
think it will. I think it absolutely will,
I'm not
sir.
saying it won't. I'm not saying it won't. I'm saying we'll
Moon,
have to see. When moon?
it's gonna moon
You're gonna say? Did you
when
say when
when Lambo.
moon? When Lambo?
No, I said moon. That's all I said,
Yeah,
moon.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So
So you wanted to talk about Cosmos ecosystem, right?
it's my boy. Yeah, Cosmos
The
SDK.
winning team, the winning
Dude,
team, the underdogs that are pretty much powering all of the dope protocols that we look at, you know.
dude, they have. I
Oh,
actually opened this.
speaking of which, by the way, this is a plug for NFT Gallery in Berlin.
Okay.
Really, I went there with a friend, um, and we had an incredible time there. Like they have incredible augmented reality pieces. They have a bar, at the end of the sort of gallery visit, and a really vibrant sort of art ecosystem. And it's the first of its kind in the entirety of Berlin. And we went there and met like a bunch of really cool people. And I met a Cosmos dev. I think I told you about it
Yeah.
there. And yeah, he had so many interesting things to say. One of the things he said was actually that the reason why Cosmos isn't valued as highly as, say, Polkadot or something is because, in his words, Polkadot had more money in marketing spent, while Cosmos didn't spend much in marketing at all, apparently.
Yeah. Of
And
course.
that's from the words of a dev at Cosmos. So, but take that with a grain of salt. I mean, even he could be wrong, but who knows? It did seem surprising to me that many impressive projects came out of Cosmos, and that Cosmos was still that undervalued.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Uh, so
take the charge.
yeah. So Cosmos SDK is super interesting. So again, we said this before, but we're just gonna rehash it. So Cosmos SDK, not Cosmos the coin, is basically just a software development kit, but for blockchains. Basically, they provide some rails for you to develop uh, a layer one, but you're essentially borrowing all of its underlying properties, which let's just say, off the top of my head, a few of them are 10,000 TPS, which basically you have to come up with your own validator nodes for that. But it's 10,000 TPS due to the architecture. It's obviously proof of stake. It has smart contracts. And it has, like you mentioned before, it has IBC, inter-blockchain communication, which is a module added to the Cosmos ecosystem. Basically, all the projects, well, not all, the projects that choose to, but most of them did, have access to a protocol that allows their blockchain to communicate between them. So this goes into the whole thing with the Internet of Blockchains, like cross-chain communication. And it's super interesting, dude. Like, for example, I think I shared with you Mango Markets, right? Yeah, so Mango Markets is a DApp in which you can basically, I think it's with Torchain, and you can basically trade across 27 blockchains, different blockchains, including Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Just a quick correction here. Mango Markets, I believe, is Solana. Or not?
I off the top of my head, I think it's.
I mean, they can be cross-chain now. Yeah, Mango Markets is Solana.
But then it's not Mango Markets. Sorry,
Then it's different.
After I'm finished speaking, I'll let you answer, and maybe I can check and bring exactly what it is. But yeah, it's this website. Right. I think it's Market Markets. But the thing is that basically it's this website where you can trade across 27 blockchains, and you can see the exact routing of the assets and the fees across each jump. And for example, if you want to trade USD, which is the native stable coin of Terra, and if you want to move it to Cosmos or Juno or Osmosis on in the Cosmos ecosystem, you get up with 0.97, which is okay. It's not one-to-one, but you have cross-blockchain processes. Like, it's never going to be 100% free. And then if you go and you try to send the same amount of money to Ethereum or Bitcoin, you see it's minus $70 because you have to pay those fees. But yeah, I'm not gonna attack them here. My point is that this whole IBC thing enables some super interesting stuff, because you can actually send stuff across blockchains at a decent price. And using this app, which I will not leave unnamed because I think it's super interesting, you can do it in like a few clicks of a button. Like, literally, you just connect two wallets to it. You send the sender address, the receiving address. You put what you want to send from what blockchain to what blockchain. You press send. It's not instant because it has to go through the blockchains across the hops. You can actually look at them, but you can change. You can transfer cross-chain assets, and that's amazing. And yeah, that's primarily, at least in the Cosmos ecosystem, that's done through IBC. The difference between Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Cosmos ecosystem is that IBC is built in. So basically, if you want to start Jerry chain tomorrow and you use Cosmos SDK, this is going to be a base feature of your chain, which I think is amazing, dude. Like you said with Near Protocol, it's a building block. I think having a protocol without IBC in the next few years, it's not going to be worth it. Like, I think even not Solana. Solana is obviously IBC compatible, but yeah, I think even Polkadot will have some IBC compatibility. Anyhow.
So did IBC spring? IBC is something that Cosmos adopted. It's not something that sprung out of Cosmos. Because I keep mixing it up.
If I'm not mistaken, it's a pluginable part in all blockchains. It's just that Cosmos, being the ground layer for so many chains, they just added it into the ground layer, and then all the chains that are built upon it, when they update it to the new version of their own protocol, based on the new version of the Cosmos ecosystem, they basically had this by default. So yeah, it's a pluginable part. Since other protocols have it, for example, like you said with Near Protocol, which uses, I think, something called Octopus networks, which Octopus networks have implemented IBC. So this is some high-level internet pluginability of protocols, but yeah, it's definitely easier to plug it in something like, for example, like a proof of stake system, than it is for like in Bitcoin, where they would have to fork the chain for something like this to exist. This is not something you can do with a soft fork. But yeah, it's, again, we're not going to go there. Anyhow, this is the Cosmos ecosystem. It's
So
super interesting, dude. Yeah.
so you just said something interesting. What you mean Ethereum would have to fork to be able to offer inter-blockchain
No,
communication?
I,
No
I'm,
way. Okay, wow.
or at
So
least,
they've already handicapped themselves by that.
yeah, because again, this is I think this is a big part. This has to be some core level implementation that has to be done here. So I think it almost certainly would need a hard fork for it. So yeah,
Wow, that's dope.
yeah,
I mean, that's not dope. I mean, it's dope for Cosmos, it's not dope for Ethereum.
but like we said, the thing with the EVM, like Ethereum has its own selling point due to the security and this grandfathered in reputation, but uh, people are starting to implement EVMs. But like we said with, for example, Near Protocol or Phantom and Near Protocol, they have IBC and EVM. So IBC is becoming something that all the cool kids have, just like EVM. So I think it's a competitive advantage to have IBC in your blockchain now.
Yeah, super cool, man.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I think this makes a great case for Cosmos, and next week we'll definitely touch on some of the projects that are on Cosmos. Um, by the way, Near that I just talked about earlier is also IBC compatible.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can probably switch
And
in and out of the Cosmos ecosystem from there too.
yeah, I just have a list here. Like in the top 100 coins, 8 of them are built on Cosmos.
Wow.
So there's a lot of them already, and they're coming, dude.
Yeah.
Like there's so many of them. Like
And
yeah.
how many of those are Ethereum?
Oh, EVM compatible? Uh,
And no, I mean in the top. Did you say top 100 or top 20?
top 100. Yeah. I,
Top 100.
I
Oh, okay, okay, top 100.
I imagine a lot
Yeah,
of them
there's
are
quite a
have
few. Quite a
yeah.
few, probably.
I think some of them have. I mean, some other protocols have EVM compatibility, but yeah, um, yeah,
Gotcha,
and
gotcha,
and
gotcha.
actually, okay, I just want to say one thing about Cosmos. We touched upon Cosmos when we discovered Terra Luna, and we were saying you were asking me why is Cosmos different from Ethereum, and I was like, I explained to you that Cosmos is not the underlying chain like Ethereum is. It's just like a building toolkit, and I was telling you it kind of has no reason for it to grow. But I just saw a piece of news in December, and I'm gonna take this slow, but I want people to understand because this is some big brain shit. And let me just unpack it.
Let's go.
They said that in the next iteration of the Cosmos ADK, I think it's a major version or something, they will allow validator nodes to validate across all chains. What this means is that potentially, with very few tweaks or modifications, you'll be able to have a validator node for the Cosmos, the token, Cosmos token, and also, well, chain, Cosmos chain, and also be able to validate for Terra chain. Now, why this is super interesting is because right now, if I want to start Adi chain, right, layer one, I would need to start building up some validators from the ground up. I would have to convince people to start validator nodes, to start their own implementation of the validator nodes. They would have to buy specialized hardware, all of that. What this upgrade might be able to do, at this point, it's not done yet. I'm not sure exactly on the specificity, but from what I understand is you'll be able to validate across the Cosmos ecosystem, which means I can have Adi chain up today and tomorrow have 100 validator nodes up and running, which is amazing. Like this is, if you ask me, like based on what I'm seeing right now, this is the groundwork for what blockchain is supposed to be, or at least cross-chain is supposed to be, in the sense that you'll be able to bootstrap blockchains like that without increased cost. And the, one of the
I mean, this is great, obviously, but I don't know. I get the feeling that this just promotes the fragmentation, that the existing fragmentation we already have.
but I don't think it promotes fragmentation as much as diversity or unique selling aspects. Like think about the chain we want to talk about next week. It's let's just say it's like an edge case, but it's definitely an edge case some people would want to take. Maybe you have a great idea for a chain tomorrow and you would think, I'm not going to build it from scratch because it's going to take me 5 years. By the time I'm done, Bitcoin and Ethereum and all these other players will be even 5 years ahead of me. But right now, you're able to have your own unique selling points. So yeah, and then why does the fragmentation matter when you have IBC? You can have your own stuff. It's IBC compatible.
I mean, yeah. Maybe the future is that diverse in terms of what
Yeah.
people choose to put their money in and stuff like that. But at the same time, I do worry that there's so much fragmentation that you don't, yeah, like it's too much for the your average Joe. And I think I think that's like evident in one of the memes that I was mentioning earlier that was just really funny, and we'll put this up. But it was this person saying crypto bros on one hand wanting to make crypto more accessible, and then under that line it said, but also crypto bros, and you have all of these like crazy acronyms like ZK rollups and EVMs and snarks and all kinds of stuff, and then it ended the sentence with Vitalik Buterin. And it just goes to show that when you are in this ecosystem, right, and you're learning about all of these things, you don't bat an eye at a new acronym. But we do have to view it a little bit from the perspective of somebody coming in new, and that is one of my sort of concerns, that there will be so many coins that you won't be able to keep track of them. But I don't know. The current world is already so fragmented, and people have their niche things everywhere. So maybe that is the future that we're heading to, and maybe another generation can make even more sense of it, the same way that this one can. Because
But this
yeah,
is
it's not like it's impossible, but there's a huge barrier. There's a huge barrier to entry due to just technical expertise and just being able to understand like some of these concepts.
But from what perspective? In the sense, what do you think is difficult? Because, for example, if you were to think about, let's say, social media websites, while it's not hard to utilize Facebook or Twitter or stuff like that, they are built in with different tool sets. And you, as a customer or as a client and as a user, you don't care what they're built with. The same thing will be true for blockchain or dApps built on blockchain. You don't care what it's built with. You just have the user experience in front of you. So this will be the challenge of,
Yeah.
of the developers. But seeing the way I see it is right now, if I wanna start the dApp, or if I wanna start, let's go from this level. If I wanna start the website, I can pretty much get the host, get the DNS and stuff like that, and have my website up in minutes. So I'm thinking maybe you'll want the same thing with blockchains. You'll first off you'll want to have maybe your specialized blockchain up and running in minutes. It's never going to be in minutes, but in minutes. But then when you decide what app you want to build, you'll be like, okay, what do I want? Do I want security? I'll use the protocol. Do I want stablecoin accessibility? I'll use Terra. Do I want this? I'll use this. And you can,
Yeah.
dude, it's super exciting. And I'll say this, from this strict perspective, Cosmos has some unique selling advantages because this is what I'm doing right now. I'm learning Cosmosm, and basically you have the same underlying programming language. This is a huge competitive advantage, because you can learn Cosmosm, understand the basics, and then you can move from protocol to protocol They are different, but they're not completely different, just like Solidity or Pact or some other smart contract languages are. This is a huge competitive advantage. So, for example, if Cosmos SDK as the toolkit would be a company, I would invest heavily in it because I think we're going to have much more and more adoption. Anyhow, yeah, and also regarding the whole thing with the validator nodes, I think it's super awesome. And if I'm not mistaken, they said something with the Atom token. So I think they said something that the fees will be paid in the new blockchain's token. However, they will be market bought for Atom, and then that Atom be used as fees. But I have to check this. Basically, what they're saying is that they're gonna actually monetize this whole ecosystem they're building. And this is in terms of business, this is next level thinking. And that would be super interesting.
Wow, okay. Um, that makes me think why wouldn't Ethereum have done that, or why wouldn't other blockchains do that? Is that a completely new concept that you would charge in that regard?
I mean, it's similar to what Ethereum is doing, but in terms of, so if you have, sorry, if you have the dApp here, the layer one here, basically what Cosmos has done is they have another layer. So you have the building blocks in terms of the technology for the validator nodes, then you have the layer one blockchain, and then you have the dApp. Basically, Ethereum is here. Ethereum is not here. Basically, Atom is providing the groundwork for the blockchain, ergo, so it's like trickle down shit. It's interesting, dude. It's interesting. But again, so the full details aren't even out yet.
Okay.
This
This is
is not
just
done, but
pie in the sky.
I'm not sure if it's that far into the future. I think we're talking Q2 or Q1 or Q2 this year. So we're gonna hear about it pretty soon, and we're gonna have implementation about it pretty soon.
Okay.
But I think it's awesome. So the first time I heard it, it took me a minute, and I was like, "Oh, this is a game changer." And I'm not sure. This is the reason, but the Atom token, it has been moving quite nicely. And before,
Yeah.
when we spoke about it in the summer, we were like, "Yeah, Terra is going to the moon, ironically, but Atom isn't moving. Why?" And now Atom is moving. Obviously, the reason might be because there's already, like I said, 8 protocols from its toolkit in the top 100, but also might be this small implementation, the possibility to pay fees essentially in Atom across all the chains.
Yeah. Super cool, man.
Super
I'm
cool.
looking forward to seeing what they decide to do. I think there's so much to talk about, really, and so little time. But yeah, we can spread it out between podcasts, and then next week we can touch on like ZK rollups and other layer twos and what's happening on the Ethereum blockchain and so forth. Yeah, just I guess we could just chat about anything really for the last few minutes. What do you think about Nancy Pelosi's end of year calls?
Dude, I don't know, dude. She's outperforming the
She
market.
bought Disney, she bought Nvidia.
Dude,
Those are the two that I can remember off the top of my head. But she's my favorite investor, you know, above Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger and Ray
yeah.
Dalio. I mean, who is Ray Dalio even? You know?
Dude, who's Charlie Munger buying Baba like a boomer when Baba is underperforming everything? When Nasty Pelosi is making
What'd you say, Nasty Pelosi? That sounds like a rapper name. Yeah. Somebody said saying Pelosi as a possessive pronoun sounds like a disease. It's like Pelosi's.
Yeah,
You get
I
it?
get it.
Pelosi's.
Dude, did you see that the Twitter account that was following her stock movements got blocked,
Yeah,
I don't know,
yeah,
suspended, deleted, and
yeah, man.
there's another
The
Twitter
right,
account now.
Yeah, man, the right arm of the Democratic Party is Twitter, basically.
But dude, there's another Twitter account, and I think its name is something like "definitely not a Democrat senator" or something. And it's a picture of Nancy Pelosi, and it's sharing her traits. Dude, I died. It's like, no, no, these people are way too funny, man.
I
I,
love it, man. I love it.
dude,
They
honestly,
do they do end of now they do end of year roundups of politicians trading, and then they also tally it up like who made the most profit is so funny. I love it,
yeah,
man. I really do. I think
Twitter is funny, man.
potentially we can sort of roast politicians out of position. I actually
Yeah.
think it is possible with memes and funny content.
I think I just saw I think I just saw a news article I think yesterday saying that Nancy Pelosi won't run after her term. This is her last
Yes,
term.
yes. Yes, and it has you can't tell me that
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that Twitter you can't tell me that Twitter
yeah,
account didn't
exactly.
play
Sure,
into that decision. Like at
yeah,
least 1%. Come on, man.
absolutely, dude,
Yeah,
absolutely.
you have to love like Twitter's sort of humor aside, because there's
Yeah,
some fucking hilarious people on Twitter, on finance Twitter. There's this guy called Litquidity. He's incredible. Litquidity. Obviously, you've got Wall Street Bets Twitter account. Then you have a bunch of this guy that always keeps saying that he's Chamar's father.
yes,
You
yes.
know that guy?
Parik Patel.
Parik Patel.
Yeah, dude, it's funny, and he's like replying to actual people, and he's like saying this funny stuff. But dude,
I
even
love it, man.
Elon, dude, like when this was the thing with
Yeah,
Elizabeth
he's
Warren, Senator
yes,
Karen, and
he's
stuff like that, dude, I
yes,
died.
he's yeah, Senator Karen.
From this perspective, Twitter is quite cool. Like you have people, high level
Yeah.
people, clap backing against some other high level people, and it's
Oh
funny.
yes.
It's genuinely funny.
Yeah, so it's not just a place for really good alpha
Yeah,
um in terms of like coins and stocks and stuff, but it's also very funny if you look at the right
yeah,
accounts. And I think you do need like some humor in this because it can get very dry very quickly. I mean, I've said this before, but
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
man, humor is the spice of life, in
Humor is funny.
my humble opinion.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so shout outs to Nancy Pelosi, man, out here just grinding, you
Yeah,
know,
dude.
out here just grinding, like just putting in the work, man. You know what I mean?
It's
Like I mean, full-time politician, part-time trader, out maneuvering all of us, and we don't know how. Shout outs to her, man. Shout outs to
dude.
her. Everybody got to
Yeah.
eat, you know?
Well,
What were you gonna say?
no, I just wanted to say it's like she sees into the future. It's like she knows what's
Yeah,
what's gonna
man.
happen before it happens. It's
Yeah.
like it's impressive, dude. It's like
It must be the PE ratio evaluations and being able to draw up all of these diagrams and stuff like
yeah.
that. Like just the stuff that politicians do. Just
I think her Excel skills are off the fucking charts, dude. I think she does discount flow calculations like nobody else. She has to have some math skills.
anyway. But
Yeah.
I think it's a good
Well,
place to end. It was a good pod, given that we were away. I keep saying that we'll promise we'll make it again. Now I'm just gonna have to say, you're just gonna have to. No, I'm kidding. We'll try and make it more regular.
yeah.
Always try. And yeah, but because some of this shit is really about like
Sorry.
it's about living life, so to say, or like um gathering information and then being able to not give half-assed opinion on stuff.
Uh, I, I
um
I found the project. Sorry, before I forget about it, it's called Rango Exchange, not Mango Exchange. But yeah,
gotcha,
Rango
gotcha,
Exchange, the thing with the cross blockchain stuff. I just wanted to mention it. And yeah,
gotcha.
continue with living life or whatever.
Living life.
whatever bullshit you were saying about living life and shit, man.
No, like you want to come back with something steadfast, and sometimes it doesn't happen in that week where you feel particularly inspired by anything you've read or came across. So when you come back to the pod, you want to come back with something slightly more steadfast. So, but yeah, but this is not a excuse not to be shooting the EPs, but a slight explanation.
I think our pods are somewhat structured in the sense that we do have topics. For example, I've seen other podcasters which basically just do like a show. They just start talking about something and they just go into different topics and watch, for example, what the market is doing and just talk about random stuff. That's not what we're doing. We could do that as well, but yeah, usually we do have topics for our pod, and like you usually say, we have to come up with something that after all brings some alpha into it, right? Because
absolutely,
why do it otherwise?
Yeah. So once again, thanks everyone for listening. This is the Legalized Robbery Pod, and we will be back soon.
To underperforming Nancy Pelosi.
Yes, sir. Shout out Nancy. Give me a call.
Nobody move and nobody gets hurt. This is a stick up by Jerry and Adrian, the Legalized Robbery Podcast.